The Indianapolis 500, also formerly known as the Indianapolis 500-mile race, or simply the Indy 500, is an annual automobile race held at Indianapolis Motor Speedway in Speedway, Indiana, United States, an enclave suburb of Indianapolis. The event is traditionally held over Memorial Day weekend, usually the last weekend of May. It is contested as part of the Indy Car Series, the top level of American championship car racing. An open-wheel, open-cockpit formula colloquially known as Indy car racing. The track itself is nicknamed the Brickyard, as the racing surface was paved in brick in the fall of 1909. 1 yard of brick remains exposed at the start-finish line. The event, billed as the greatest spectacle in racing, is considered part of the Triple Crown of Motorsport, which comprises 3 of the most prestigious motorsports events in the world, also including the Monaco Grand Prix and the 24 Hours of Le Mans. In 2 different periods, the race was part of FIA World Championships. Between 1925 and 1928, the World Manufacturers' Championship, and between 1950 and 1960, the Formula One World Championship. The official attendance is not disclosed by Speedway management, but the permanent seating capacity is upwards of 250,000. And infield patrons raise the race day attendance to approximately 300,000. It shares its date with NASCAR's 600-mile event at Charlotte, with drivers having completed both events in one day before in a so-called double duty. The inaugural race was held in 1911 and was won by Ray Harroun. The event celebrated its 100th anniversary in 2011, and the 100th running was held in 2016. The event was put on hiatus twice, from 1917 to 1918 due to World War I and from 1942 to 1945 due to World War II. Helio Castroneves is the current champion. The most successful drivers are A. J. Foyt, Al Unser Sr., Rick Mears and Helio Castroneves, each of whom has won the race 4 times. The active driver with the most victories is Helio Castroneves. Rick Mears holds the record for most career pole positions with 6. The most successful car owner is Roger Penske, owner of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and Team Penske, which has 18 total wins and 18 poles. Penske also has 5 wins at the IndyCar Grand Prix, held on the combined road course. The event is steeped in tradition. In pre-race ceremonies, post-race celebrations, and race procedure, the most noteworthy and most popular traditions are the 33-car field lining up 3 wide for the start, the annual singing of Back Home Again in Indiana, and the Victory Lane bottle of milk. Also unique is that qualifying requires the driver to complete 4, rather than 1, timed laps. Qualifying has a separate weekend. The Indianapolis Motor Speedway complex was built in 1909 as a gravel and tar track and hosted a smattering of small events, including ones for motorcycles. The first long-distance event, in fearful conditions, was the 100-lap Presto Light Trophy in 1909, won by Bob Berman in a Buick. The breakup of the track surface led to 2 fatal accidents in the first 2 long-distance events, which was shortened to 235 miles after 2 severe wrecks. That these spectacles had attracted 15,000 paying customers Wheeler-Shebler Trophy in Amarman. The crowds grew progressively smaller for the rest of the season, however, so the track owners chose to focus on a single race, and considered a 24-hour contest, in the fashion of Le Mans, or a 1,000-mile of pure gold. The combination allowed the track to rapidly acquire a privileged status for automobile races. The first 500 was held at the Speedway in 1911 on Decoration Day. May 30th was declared the winner, although Ralph Mulford protested the official result. 80,000 spectators were in attendance, and an annual tradition had been established. Many considered Harroun to be a hazard during the race, as he was the only driver in the race driving without a riding mechanic, who checked the oil pressure and let the driver know when traffic was coming. In 1912, the purse was raised to $50,000. The field was limited to 33, and a riding mechanic was made mandatory. This second event was won by Joe Dawson in a national, after Ralph De Palma's Mercedes broke. Although the first race was won by an American driver at the wheel of an American car. European makers such as the Italian Fiat or French Peugeot companies soon developed their vehicles to try to win the event, which they did from 1912 to 1919. The 1913 event saw a change to a 450 cubic inch maximum engine size. After World War I, the native drivers and manufacturers regained their dominance of the race. And engineer Harry Miller set himself up as the most competitive of the post-war builders. His technical developments allowed him to be indirectly connected to a history of success that would last into the mid-1970s. For musical entertainment before the start of the race, the Purdue All-American Marching Band has been the host band of the race since 1991.